Okay, ladies, we're going to get right into it. Let's talk about one of Kevin's most recent shows. The title was High Value Men Don't Want These Women. So I've got some notes on the screen, so if you see me looking away, I just want to make sure I stay on track. Again, welcome back to the Wives Club. We are the private community for current, future, and former wives within the family, which is Kevin Samuels' private Patreon group. And Mr. Samuels was gracious enough to let us have a community where we could share with each other. All right, so this community is open to ladies within the family. Definitely want to make sure this is an interactive group, so please comment below your thoughts, your feedback. If you have anything to share, I definitely want to make sure that this is inclusive and we grow so that we can all become the best version of ourselves. So, some key takeaways. If you haven't had a chance to watch the video, I highly recommend that you do. Uh, my takeaways from the video were three categories of women that Kevin talked about that high value men do not want. The first one is unfit. And this one, ladies, we have heard that tuba. I have nightmares, whether it's a tuba or a trombone, I don't know. You can see my exercise bike behind me with the weights there. I am also on a fitness journey. I was one of those people, just to be transparent, that thought all of my other accomplishments could overcome being fit. And at age 45, now the extra weight starts to pose health challenges as we age. So, my advice to anyone who is struggling with the same, we know the statistics in our community. Find whatever support you need to get on top of your fitness. I'll share some things that I've done. I've seen a metabolic specialist and got tested for food sensitivities, and I'm currently on an elimination diet. So I'm removing the things from my diet that cause inflammation, and the weight loss is coming as a byproduct. So I have about 40 pounds left to go. So let's support each other, hold ourselves accountable, and make sure that we are as fit and healthy as we can be. Our men deserve that. All men deserve that. Kevin often says we show men what they deserve by our attitude and by the way that we show up. And I want to make sure that we're giving all of our men the best version of ourselves. In addition to that, there's exercise. Exercise is one of those things, it's kind of like you got to push that rock up the hill and it's hard to get started. But once you do, surprisingly, you'll actually find yourself looking forward to a workout. I work out about 5 to 6 times per week, whether I'm on the bike behind me or I work out at home with YouTube. So I'll give you another little hack what I did. I upgraded to the YouTube version that eliminates commercials, so I'm on YouTube Premium, and that makes listening to Kevin's replays a breeze because I never catch him live. I always have to catch him the next day because I'm a morning person and I can't stay up as late as he does. But I also found so many workout videos for all different fitness levels on YouTube. All right, so here's a tip that works for me. So I've got two boys, one in high school and one in middle school. And what I do is I get up no later than 6 a.m. in the morning. And if they're making their own breakfast, which I have taught them how to cook, then I will be doing my workout down here. I'll swivel the TV towards the kitchen behind me and I'll put my AirPods on. I have a Roku device, and on the Roku device, you can have the sound come through your earphones so you can work out at any time during the day without disturbing anyone else in the house. That's a great tip so that you can make sure you make time for yourself. So, whether I'm doing Pilates or walking or jogging in place, stretching, weight training, I make sure that I get my exercise in. I've got a goal with my doctor to get my BMI down. And like I said, Kevin's got me looking for collarbones all the time. So, let's do our best to make sure that we are ready and as fit as possible. If anybody has any other suggestions on what's worked for you, let's share with each other so we can all hold ourselves accountable. Let's move on to number two. The number two thing that Kevin said that high value men don't want is career women. And that's a tough one. But you know what? It's true. And I'll share a little bit about my experience with you all. I've been corporate since college. I work for a software company and I've worked for a lot of big companies, most recently the Coca Cola company before the pandemic. And I had a grinding 2-hour commute, dropping off the kids, going to work, turning around, coming back, dinner, homework, bath, and I was exhausted. But we just keep pushing and we think that's just what we have to do. And then when COVID hit and we all had to come home to wait this thing out for a couple weeks, a funny thing happened. I actually was one of those women who found that being at home and nesting and nurturing and taking care of my kids, even though it was stressful for all of us to be here at the same place and we all got Zoom fatigue, I actually found it so fulfilling. It helped me on my fitness journey. It helped me to be more accountable about what I put in my mouth and in my body. And it also helped me to prepare healthier meals for myself and the family. So what ended up happening is I got a call from a software company that found me on LinkedIn. And one of the first questions that they asked me was, what would you say to 100% remote work even after the pandemic? And I was thinking to myself, my goodness, what an opportunity. Because I was thinking, how can I negotiate having 1, 2, maybe 3 work from home days during the week when everything opens back up? And luckily enough, long story short, I transitioned to a 100% remote position, and I absolutely love it. And you know what's interesting? When I talked to my man during the decision to make the move, he was in full support. And surprisingly to me, he had been wanting me to scale back for a long time. But we think we're so strong and we can power through it. And that's the thing, we are strong in our 20s and in our 30s. But young ladies, it is going to catch up with you, and your body is going to start to wear and tear. And that is not where we should be putting all of our energy. Of course, work. I have a mortgage, I take care of my home, but what decisions are you making that are going to be sustainable for yourself and your legacy and the man that you have or hope to have? So, a tip that I would have, start planning with the future in mind. I think men are a lot better about that than we are sometimes. I know I tend to be impulsive and I don't always look at the end. So, even if you don't have a man in your life romantically, talk to men that you respect and get their perspective about different decisions that you're making. It could be very eye opening. So if there's any way that you can find a more flexible work option, now's the time to use whatever leverage you have to either negotiate that or maybe make a move if that's something that would work for you. And then lastly, in the video, Kevin said, high value men do not want baby mamas. And I know this is a sore spot. He talks about this one all the time. But ladies, you know, it's true. And as a single mother, I have 2 children from the marriage, and my ex-husband is here in the Atlanta area and very involved. He gets the boys every weekend, but they are his children. And one of the things that Kevin talks about all the time is how can you make your children an asset to another man? And I'm still looking for the answer to that. If you are so fortunate to find a man that is willing to provide for you and your children, count your blessings. It is incredibly amazing to see somebody step in when they don't have to. So anything that you can do with your attitude, listening to him, making sure your children listen to him and respect him, not as a father, but as a father figure. If it's somebody that you respect, it shouldn't be hard at all. So I'd love to know you all's thoughts on that. Um, those of us who have children, I'll be honest, one of the reasons why um, I'm not remarried is because there are children involved. And I want to make sure that I do right for the children. So I'm also learning how to balance, being a mother, but also being in a relationship because eventually the kids are going to go and move on to wherever they want to go, and I'm going to be here. So I make sure that I put time into putting my relationship as a priority and showing the respect that I gladly give. So I'm going to wrap up this section here. And if you have any thoughts on this, anything that's worked for you, any tips that you would want to share on those 3 things about high value men not wanting women that are unfit, what have you all done to stay fit and make changes in your life? your career. What changes have you made in your career so that you can put your relationship first and not a corporation first that's going to replace you just like that? And if you are a mother, um, what have you done that's been successful in your relationship with a man that we could possibly learn from? So that's it for now, ladies, and we'll see you in the next section.